Hi, and welcome to today's Parent, where we connect you with experts and provide you with information to make your parenting journey a bit more easier. I'm your host, Christine Casina, and on today's show, we'll be talking about sibling rivalry. It's a topic when it comes to matters parenting that a lot of parents are concerned about. And in studio today, we have our specialist, counseling psychologist, Esther Mbao. Esther,
yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Christine.
Sibling rivalry, defined for us.
Wow. Even before I define, I like to start by saying, the only thing constant in life is change, but the only thing we are always ever scared of is the change. So sibling rivalry comes because there is change that is inevitably taking place. So sibling rivalry is basically what happens between children from the same family, and they feel like they have to compete for limited resources. It could be affection, attention, it could be even also what is materially there. And so some sense of competition begins to creep in. So basically, in a nutshell, that is what sibling rivalry is.
Competing for affection, resources,
yes.
a parent's time. I can imagine, most of us grew up, as third children or middle children or firstborns. And depending on where you are in the family, I don't know if the effects are the same, what firstborns go through, what middle children go through. I don't know if lastborns get a feel of sibling rivalry as well. What's your take?
Definitely all the children feel it, and I can say sibling rivalry is very normal. So it's not something to blow a mountain out of a molehill for. It happens, and it's very, very normal. It's like you, Christine, if someone was to tell you in your place of work, someone is coming to join you in your department, or you're being moved to somewhere and you're going to work with other people. There's always that fear of, will I be accepted? How will I blend in? Will I still be okay? Or there's that sense of, I'm feeling a bit threatened that
and
my position.
Still be important.
Yes, will I still be important? So sibling rivalry is very normal, and it's a normal reaction to when change is happening, especially when you know someone else is coming in. So what happens is sibling rivalry actually starts even before the child is born. Maybe there's a first child and a second one is on the way. Immediately the first one knows, sibling rivalry starts taking place. So you need to understand that it will inevitably happen. And if you have two and they're expecting a third one, both of them will still feel a bit threatened because they're wondering, the first one came in, the second one came and changed things a bit.
And now a third one is on the way.
Yeah, what will happen? Will they take all our attention? Will mommy still love me the way she loves me? Will daddy still take me out as he used to take me out? So these are, because of the uncertainty, this will obviously take place. And yes, even when the third one comes in and they see the first one is there's some sibling rivalry, because what happens when you have your first child, you've created a rapport in terms of sometimes you consult them, there are things you just do with them, and you're thinking this one is still a baby, so they won't do much. So this one will actually feel threatened, and there'll be sibling rivalry because they're thinking, why is mommy doing this with this person and not with me?
So they start to act out.
So sibling rivalry will take place no matter the position and no matter the order you're in terms of your birth.
I hear you.
Yes.
So when it comes to sibling rivalry, what kind of behavioral things come into play? How is it exhibited?
Okay. First of all, the child begins to act out. If you knew this child's personality, and that's why I keep saying parents need to know their children from the word go. Don't try to mold them into mini-yous. Allow this child to become who they are. And once you know who they are, if something is affecting them, their personality shifts immediately. So you're able to tell that there's something wrong and something is going on.
Okay.
So in terms of personality change, maybe this child was outgoing, they were fun-loving, they're just extroverted, they become introverted.
Right.
Or they were introverted and now they're extroverted. That is a warning sign. If a child begins to regress, and regress means maybe they used to bedwet at an earlier stage and now they've gone back to it, there's sibling rivalry. If they're having nightmares, there's sibling rivalry. If they're changing patterns even in terms of eating, changes, you need to find out what is going on with this child. Also in terms of them not wanting to associate with the other siblings, that's a key indicator that sibling rivalry is getting to a place where it is unmanageable. A little bit of it is healthy,
But too much of it.
Too much of it is very unhealthy. So you need to manage it. And you cannot take it away completely.
Right.
It is very normal because we also know with each child, with each position, they come with different characteristics. The firstborn is always the leader.
So the firstborn is always
The leader. So they are always more organized. They like to, how do I say it? They like to make sure their other siblings are, they live according to their
so
standards.
They keep them in check.
Yes. Let me say it in Kiswahili. Wanapenda kupanga wengine. That's a typical firstborn. Given in any family, that's a typical firstborn. A secondborn, on the other hand, or what we'd call a middle child, they like to be more noisy because you see normally the firstborn, they feel like the firstborn took everything.
Right.
So they have to try and outshine the other one. So they'll try to even be a bit rebellious. So even when the firstborn is trying to tell them, do this, they will not do. Because they're thinking,
why are you telling me?
Why are you telling me? You're my brother. Mom should tell me. Yes, you can't be the boss of me. I can also be the boss. So they'll try be a bit rebellious.
Okay.
They'll try be a bit outgoing. Some might actually withdraw completely if you're not able to draw them out. And that is normal of middle children. And the last born, who is the baby of everyone, they actually, they are very fun-loving. They try to please everyone. So with all these different characteristics, and they all feel like we are trying to win mommy's love or daddy's affection,
right,
there will definitely be that sibling rivalry. However, as parents, we can try and minimize it by, first of all, not having a favorite.
Is it possible for a parent not to have a favorite child?
It's not possible, but you can try. You can try. And how you try is to accept each child as they are. And I keep going back to my statement. You can't give that which you don't have. If you've not accepted yourself, you'll not accept your children as they are.
Right.
So it begins first with you. Have I accepted who I am and where I am in my life and what I'm doing? Because most of the times we'll try and say, actually, my children will be 1, 2, 3. Because I didn't do medicine, the first one will do medicine. The second one, I've had law is also good. We'll try and do law. We're trying to live our lives in our children instead of allowing our children to be who they are and to grow into who they were created to be. So, number one, accept each child as they are. Please know, in as much as they're your children, they all come with different personalities, with different temperaments, and with different giftings.
Right.
Also, don't compare one child to another. You keep saying, your brother always does this.
Your brother is always number one.
Yes, your sister always is the one who shines. Or your child is like, why am I being compared? That's who they are and this is who I am. So you need to accept children and nurture that gifting that is in them. You will not always have all bright children, but there's always something special about that child. So acknowledge who they are, acknowledge where they are in that family, and then try and build a team. The other thing that brings sibling rivalry is when the children feel segregated. Like, I'm always not being involved in 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
My family does this and they don't tell me. Or
so and so is the only one who's always asked for their opinion.
By the way, I keep saying it is also healthy for families to do team building. That way we're able to understand each other and appreciate each other and understand that we're working against the world as a family. So we need to take each child as they are, accept them with their personality, accept them with their temperament, and also appreciate the birth order, because with the birth order also comes some special characteristics.
I get you.
Yes.
So when it comes to the birth order and sibling rivalry, in your line of work as a counseling psychologist, what kind of effects have you seen the impact of sibling rivalry on adults?
Wow, it's amazing that you brought that out. One that came out very clearly to me is, if a firstborn marries a firstborn, that house has 2 leaders. So already there are issues from day one. If a firstborn marries a lastborn, the firstborn will always feel like, I need to sort the lastborn.
So who are lastborn supposed to marry?
Once you understand your birth order and how it affects you, then you're able to adjust in different relationships. Also later in life, with your birth order, it also affects your career choices. It affects if you're a leader or if you're not a leader. It affects your temperament, your personality. So the birth order does affect. But with sibling rivalry, it has a negative effect, because you've always felt you want to compete for the limited resources.
What are the effects of sibling rivalry to an adult?
Okay. Sibling rivalry generally has a negative effect. It could also have a competitive edge because you've learned how to survive in a place where you know you're trying to fight to be noticed,
right,
or to meet a need that you have. But generally on a negative side, I've seen a lot of people with self-esteem issues because
self-esteem issues,
they've been compared to their siblings, yet they have this special side of them that no one has ever discovered. So they feel very defeated in life, they feel worthless, and they feel like total failures because they didn't live up to my sister or my brother's standards.
Because you're always being compared.
Yes. I've also seen with sibling rivalry unhealthy competition. People who will try to get whatever they can by whatever means, no matter how unscrupulous it can be. And sibling rivalry can also breed, how do I call this? An atmosphere that I am always in competition. There's no time you can ever relax. So there's always anxiety in you.
Yeah.
Also depression, because at some point, this thing weighs you down so much.
Yeah, like I'm never good enough.
Yeah, so you get into a depressive state. And once you get into depression, getting out of it can be really tough because now it becomes a mental illness. And it's not just a life condition or an issue that you're supposed to deal with in life. So we've seen some mental conditions that have actually also been contributed by sibling rivalry.
Right.
Because you know, this is who I am, but then you're trying to be someone else. So eventually you develop bipolar, two personalities.
Right.
So sometimes you go home, you're this person, then you go to your friends.
You're a different person.
And when these two people meet, maybe your friends and your family, and they're talking, they're wondering,
talking about the same person.
Thank you. So you're not able to live authentic. You're not able to discover who you really were created to be because of sibling rivalry. You're always trying to be someone else. But as you're trying to be someone else, who's living your life?
That is the
Who's
challenge.
being you, you know? Yet we were supposed to come into this world to always have a better version of who we are. Not a better version of another person.
And be uniquely you.
Yes,
and be uniquely you.
So we could actually have missed maybe like the cure for cancer or HIV because someone is trying to be someone
like the
else.
firstborn.
Yes, yet you're not the firstborn. Just be you. But it begins, like I keep saying, with the parent accepting who they are.
So it starts with their parents accepting who they are.
Yes.
And modeling the same to the children.
Yes.
That it's okay for you to be who you are.
Yes. It is okay for you to be a C+ student, but you have these brilliant business ideas. It's okay for you to be an A student and you want to pursue medicine or aeronautical engineering. And it's okay for another one to just be in the music and the arts, and you're all just special and unique. So I'm not going to compare any of you. I'm just going to build and nurture all of you to be who you are created to be.
Wise words indeed. We are going to take a short break, and when we come back on Today's Parent, Esther is going to share with you how to mitigate sibling rivalry and how we can do better at parenting when it comes to just being more conscious of how we parent these children that we have. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Today's Parent. On today's show, we've been talking about sibling rivalry. In studio, we have Esther, who's taken us through the definition of sibling rivalry, the things you need to look out for, and in this segment, we are going to talk about how to mitigate sibling rivalry. Esther.
Yes, Christine.
So, we have the situation,
yes,
or hopefully we never get there, and the point for this show is also to get parents to become more aware.
Yes.
How do you mitigate sibling rivalry? How do you prevent it if you can?
Okay. Now that we've said we can't prevent it, it will be there. And now that you're aware that it's very normal, you need to start involving the older children way before even the sibling arrives. So once you know you're pregnant, and maybe this is a topic for another day, you need to start telling them there's a baby coming on the way. That will come with other questions which we can deal with later. But you need to start letting them know there's a baby coming. Once you know the gender, you can also share with them you're getting a brother or a sister. And even as you're going shopping, as you're preparing for the child, as you're doing your photo shoot, kindly involve the other child. Let them not feel like they're being alienated.
So first thing is psychologically prepare the children.
Yes. And as you're preparing for this child, let's say you want the sibling to share a room with the newborn, you need to prepare them that they will start sharing. Because the other thing is, you just don't come and start giving out my things, Christine. You would feel offended
because
if someone
these are
came.
my things.
Yes, I can't take your dresses and I've not asked you. You already get offended. It's the same thing with children. So if you expect them to share room, their bedrooms, their beddings, whatever they're about to share, you need to start letting them know in advance that this is what will happen. Even sometimes ask permission. If let's say you're having children who are minimally spaced, let's say 1 year apart,
right,
and you need to use the cot, you need to start preparing that child to move out of the cot way in advance. You just don't come and move them one day and put
you come from the hospital and now you need to move
you
to
put
this
the child.
and...
No, you need to start doing a transition for them. Like we say, children thrive very well on routine. So you're coming to disrupt their routine with a newborn or with a new sibling. So you need to start preparing them for that. Other than that, like I've said, take them shopping. When you're going to the hospital, let them know what is going on.
So involve them.
Involve them. Please don't tell them you're going to the supermarket to buy the child.
And then the baby just shows up.
Yes, that is very wrong. Let them know what is happening step by step. Then when the child comes home, they'll be very excited. You could have small children who want to hold their sibling. It's okay. Let them hold the child while you're with them.
Yeah.
But if you don't allow them to even touch that newborn, they will start hitting that child because they're already feeling this child has all the attention. That's how you find a small child inflicting harm on their sibling.
In fact, I've read cases of where the older sibling then starts biting
yes,
and hitting this infant
because they're just venting. They're just feeling, you know what, you came into my territory.
Yeah, who are you?
Yeah, please go away. Life was fine before you, but if you let them know life will be better, even with a sibling, they're more welcoming and they're more open to the process.
Right.
As they keep growing, you also need to know there's an age difference. Please don't force the older one to do things with the younger one. You can't force a 16-year-old to hang out with a 10-year-old. That's sibling rivalry already. They're feeling, man, I need to go hang out with my peeps and look cool.
Yeah,
and then you're telling me to go...
the bouncy castle.
Yeah.
I can't be seen here.
True. Also, the other thing we need to know, in as much as firstborns are supposed to be responsible and they're leaders, they don't become parents. They're still children. So allow them to be children. You can't keep telling the firstborn, you can't go out to play because you need to take care of your siblings. That also brings in a lot of contempt and a lot of hatred towards their siblings. So they're feeling, I want to go and play. And play to children is what work means to me and you.
Yeah.
So you're telling them you can't do what you're supposed to be doing in your life at this point.
Because I need to watch this young
Yes,
one.
which is very unhealthy. So you'll find sibling rivalry growing because of this. So you need to look at the age. You also need to look at the gender. Boys and girls also react very differently to sibling rivalry.
Is it worse between boys and girls or girls, boys? Which one is worse?
Okay, I have boys. It's really nasty with the boys.
They're
I don't know about
competitive.
Yes, they're
boys as
super
well.
competitive,
Very
especially
competitive.
with the mother, because they all want the affection of the mother.
Right.
But you'll also find that a boy is also very angry with the sister because the father is giving this girl a lot of attention. Yet biologically, that's how we've been wired. You know, girls usually tend to get more attention from the father.
Yeah.
And if this boy is at stage where they're learning values from their father, which is a life stage, and they're seeing their father is not giving them attention.
All the attention is given to
yes,
the sibling.
yes,
who's a girl.
Yes. So you'll find that this child will also begin to feel contempt towards their sibling. So you need to look at those factors as well. And also in terms of how many children are there? Because the middle children will always fight for their space.
Because they feel left out.
They feel left out. You know, normally when a visitor comes in, they will say hi to the firstborn, like they're very mature, you know. Christine,
right.
Hi, Christine. How are you doing? How is your family doing? And then they go to the last born, oh, kuchi. And then they go sit down. And the middle ones are left there wondering, we don't exist. That's how you find most of them saying, I, in meetings, you know, because they're used to fighting for that space. So we need to be able to understand how do we bring this down to a level where these children don't feel left out. Yeah. The other thing about sibling rivalry, you need to teach them how to resolve conflict.
By themselves.
By themselves. You need to teach children to resolve conflict by themselves, not always coming to mommy, not always coming to report to mommy. Actually, in my house, I have a rule. If there's no blood and no one has fainted, please sort out your issues. And it's very clear. Sort it out by yourselves. If they start to fight physically, then you need to intervene as a parent. I intervened.
Right.
When they were fighting physically, I had to intervene. And now you teach them conflict resolution skills, so that whenever they get into conflict, because these are different personalities trying to coexist, they're able to sort out their issues
themselves.
Yes. Also listen to each child. It's very, very important.
So it's important to be fair.
Yes, to be fair. Listen to both sides. Listen to every child. But more importantly, spend time together as a family, but spend time with each child. Each child needs to get their own time from their parents,
in fact,
from both the mother and the father.
I know of parents who then have like dates with individual children,
Yes.
do what they like.
Yes.
And you can imagine it's even tough for people who have twins, triplets.
Yes, I know it is tough. It is tough. But, you know, you've said that. I've remembered when you were growing up, you and your siblings would be dressed all the same.
Yes. And we
uniform.
Different. We are
kitenge from the mother, father, uniform.
Same
and your
fabric.
mother does not want to listen that you're a unique person and maybe you want to put on jeans and a t-shirt.
Skirts or dresses.
Thank you. So spend time with each child, get to know each child, accept them as they are, but give them what they really need. Because if I need affection, maybe someone else, all they need is just a listening ear. Or another one, all they need is just to know you're around, you know? Each child has a unique need from you. Get to understand this need, get to meet this need for each child. And then do group activities, but also do individual activities. And you don't have to do expensive things. If one likes to cook, go cook with them. If the other one likes to clean the house, clean the house with them. If the other one likes to iron, iron with them. And you spend time with them. And the other thing I like to tell parents, you don't need 24 hours to parent. You only need 15 minutes. You give your child 15 minutes every day, they are good to go for the rest of the day.
Quality over quantity.
Yes. Quality time over quantity. If you give each of them 10 to 15 minutes, you're good to go. Yes.
You know, as you're speaking, there are people who've gone through sibling rivalry. They're no longer infants, they're no longer teens.
Yes.
You know, they've grown into adults. When you're now an adult, and the effects of sibling rivalry are things you go through on a daily basis, feeling unsure. I don't know if there's any pointers you can help somebody out there struggling, having gone through that phase, feeling like they were never enough in their parents' eyes, or they felt other children within the family were favored more than them.
Yeah.
Is it something that you can deal with now, or are you doomed for life?
You're never doomed. I keep saying, as long as you have breath, you always have a chance to make things right.
Right.
And now that you're aware that what is giving you psychological disturbance is the sibling rivalry, you need to go through a process where you acknowledge what actually happened, how it affected you, and then from there you're able to decide to let go of it and forgive, and then begin to rebuild a new you. You discover a new you, a fresh you, and you live life now according to your terms. Not feeling like I'm always unworthy, I always have to live up to someone's terms.
Right.
No. Now that we are aware of it, you can begin afresh on a clean slate, saying, I am worthy in my own eyes. This happened, and I like to say our parents also didn't have so much information because they're not in the information world.
Right.
So they are not perfect. They didn't go to school to parent. So they made their own mistakes.
And none of us did.
Yes, and we all make mistakes. And what would you want for yourself if you made a mistake? You'd want forgiveness, and you'd want a second chance. So do the same for your parents. Forgive them for what they did, knowingly or unknowingly, but then now begin to live life in your own terms. This is where, as a counseling psychologist, we come in to support you.
But would you recommend from the very beginning, just to start dealing with the issue, would you recommend somebody to have a conversation with their parent?
No.
Like how you felt or how it made you feel?
No.
You wouldn't recommend that?
I wouldn't recommend that. Actually, when someone comes in for counseling with such an issue, it takes us some time. Sometimes we don't even need to go to the parent. Sometimes we do need to go to the parent. But as we go to the parent, we need to remember we're in Africa and we need our parents' blessings. So you can't go there venting to them like, you know, this is what you did. You need to go in a respectful manner, in a way they will hear you, in a way that they can also say, you know what, I am sorry, this is what I did to you. So don't go immediately to your parents. There's a guided process for that.
So there's a guided process. So the best would be to work with them. psychologist
Yes.
to work with you through that.
Yes, because many people come with a lot of pent-up anger.
Right.
So if you go with that anger to your parents, you never know the repercussions of what you might do or say. So we help you to first diffuse that anger.
Right.
Come to a place where you're at peace with where you are at, even currently with life. But now for you to move on, you need to let go of the past. So how do we move with the past? How do we deal so that we're able to move forward and be able to be who we were created to be? But as parents, we need to deal with our own sibling rivalry issues so that we don't take them forward to our children, because sometimes we were really harassed. So instead of creating a healthy environment
We are mirroring
where
the same.
Yes, where this sibling rivalry can take place in a healthy way,
Right.
we try to protect the ones you feel that are being harassed or that are being unfairly treated. So instead of teaching them to deal with this situation in a healthy manner,
Right.
because the other thing as parents is we are teaching life skills. So if I feel you're being treated unfairly, I should not shield you. I should empower you to deal with it effectively at home, because when you're out there, you'll not keep running back to me.
No.
But if I've not dealt with my issues, I will actually try to shield you and protect you, which is not healthy for you.
And there's no way you're teaching me how to cope.
Yes, yes. So as parents, we need to be very, very present and aware of what have we carried throughout our lives, and how is this affecting my parenting, and how is this affecting my relationship.
Esther,
Yes.
as we come towards the end of this show, I would want you to share with our parents who are watching the key points when it comes to mitigating sibling rivalry.
Okay.
What are the top points that you can summarize?
My first point will be accept each child as they are. Number 2, teach communication and conflict resolution skills in your home. And also, don't be the parent who always intervenes in every nitty-gritty fight that your children are having. More importantly, if you know there's a child on the way, kindly start involving the older siblings.
Right.
Because like we keep saying, the only thing constant in life is change. But change always brings in a lot of anxiety, a lot of psychological disturbance, a lot of anxiety. So for you to be able to start dealing with the sibling rivalry, involve your older children as much as possible.
And with that, we come to the end of today's show. On today's show, we were talking about sibling rivalry. Esther Mbao, a counseling psychologist, has shared with us how to mitigate sibling rivalry and to make sure that we find ways to treat our children uniquely different so that we can mitigate this issue. Thank you for watching today's show. We've been here in studio at Little Cribs, the home of fun, functional, and durable kids furniture. I have been your host, Christine Casina, and for parenting resources, please go to www.supermamas.co.ke. See you next time.